Well, 3 months after leaving Egypt, the Israelites come to Mount Sinai. Now, later on, you're going to see where Mount Sinai is called Mount Oreb. So know that there's two names, but we know it more as Mount Sinai. And it is here in Mount Sinai where God will meet with his people. It is here at Mount Sinai that he'll enter into a covenant with them. It is here that God will give them his law, give them the 10 Commandments. It is here that he will give them the plans for the tent of meeting, his tabernacle. It is here at Mount Sinai that God will bring the Israelites to a place where they have a new life, and that new life is with him. And so God called Moses to prepare the people then to meet with him. And then he did meet with them. So I want to read to you Exodus 19, verse 9 through 19. And the Lord said to Moses, I'm going to come to you in a dense cloud, so that the people will hear when I speak with you and will always believe you. Moses reported the people's words to the Lord. And the Lord told Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. They must wash their clothes and be prepared by the third day. For on the third day, the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in sight of all the people. Put boundaries for the people all around the mountain and say, be careful that you don't go up on the mountain or touch its base. Anyone who touches the mountain must be put to death, and no hand may touch him. Instead, he will be stoned or shot with arrows and not live, whether animal or human. When the ram's horn sounds a long blast, they may go up the mountain. Then Moses came down from the mountain to the people and consecrated them and washed their clothes. He said to the people, be prepared by the third day. Do not have sexual relations with women. And on the third day, when the morning came, there was a thunder and lightning, a thick cloud on the mountain, and a very loud blast from the ram's horn. So all the people in the camp shuddered. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was completely enveloped in smoke because the Lord came down on it in fire. Its smoke went up like smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain shook violently. As the sound of the ram's horn grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him in the thunder. And so the people had to prepare to meet God. They had to consecrate themselves, meaning that they had to wash themselves, cleanse themselves, be completely clean to meet the Lord. That when they came to the mountain, they could not even touch the base of the mountain, not go up it. Boundaries were to be put around the mountain to keep them from touching, because if they did, they had to be put to death. And so you see this separation, that the mountain of God is holy. We have this awe-inspiring image of God's presence coming down on the mountain. And think about this. Compare this to our times that we meet with God today. We see this great image here in Exodus 19, but how many times do we come to church and really and truly we may have Sunday school or worship or all these other different activities on our mind, but God may not be. We need to prepare to meet with the Lord each and every day. We need to have a fear of the Lord. We need to have a reverence, a respect for him in our daily life. But let me ask you, do we have that fear of the Lord in our lives? We don't need to live in fear of him being afraid, but we need to live in fear of him, meaning that we need to have a reverence and a respect for him and prepare to meet with him. Hope that you'll join me again tomorrow as we continue in the book of Exodus.